Good evening, VV Nation, and welcome to the channel. Folks, my name is Glenn, Senior Stock Market Strategist for VectorVest, and this is all about Nvidia's earnings, which is coming out tomorrow after the close. This is a make or break for the whole AI space because this is the biggest AI stock by market cap, $3 trillion. Only two stocks go back and forth with who's at the top of the list, and that's Apple and Microsoft. But Nvidia is up over 170% year over year. The earnings growth has gone from 19 to 54%. The sales growth is at 262. So everything is good about the stock, but is there a massive up move coming based on the earnings? And I'm going to give some detailed information on what people are saying, give my insights, and then of course we're going to look at what VectorVest says about all of these things as well. So we're going to start off with some stories. Quick point here. I wanted to start off on a point of interest. Do you know that out of the people who work for the chip maker, on a poll of over 3,000 Nvidia employees out of around 30,000, showed that 76% of those employees were millionaires. The company makes money and they do well to pay their people. That's just a point of interest. I don't know if you all knew that or not, but that's huge. Did you know that? Type a 1 in the chat if you knew that. Type a 2 if that was brand new information to you. All right, let's go take a look at some more news. Nvidia expected to beat. Guidance will be key. And the thing about guidance is I don't have an indicator that looks at guidance, so I don't know. And that bothers me because there are some red flags that I have about Nvidia's earnings. But signs of AI making inroads into traditionally difficult to automate sectors such as retail are emerging, strategists said, highlighting Walmart's use of generative AI to enhance productivity. And I've had this conversation with a couple of my colleagues here is how much is AI really helping people right now? And I think that if you really take a look at it, there's a lot of AI being incorporated into our lives right now. And with that being said, Nvidia is a powerhouse stock in that space. Now, analysts expect Nvidia to report revenue of $28.7 billion, operating profit of $18.8 billion, and earnings per share of 64 cents. R&D expenses for the quarter are forecasted to be $3 billion. Now, the thing about what's going on with Nvidia is that it's got such a high mark in what they are doing, and can they outpace that? Now, when you look at the other companies that have reported, Microsoft, Amazon, Google were strong during earnings season, and an indication that massive enterprise AI demand is now underway. Everybody is putting a lot of money into the AI space. Do you know that the AI market is due to hit $2 trillion as a market by 2030, because there's a lot of big investment in the AI space. Now, can Nvidia, what's the story here? Can Nvidia sustain, and this is key, its wild growth momentum in quarter two? Now, the interesting thing about this is that Nvidia keeps going up in price so much that the stock split. Even after the stock split, the stock has still continued to go up because more and more people feel that Nvidia is a great growth stock. As I mentioned, earnings growth over year went from 19 to 54. 54% earnings growth rate on the stock, which is by far an excellent number. The company has been on a fantastic growth trajectory, breaking one quarterly record after another. In the 4 quarters leading up to its most recent quarter one results, Nvidia's revenues surged by an astounding 102, 203, 266, 262 respectively. Can they maintain? And that's going to be the big question. Can they continue to go higher? Another story. The boom isn't over yet, says Rick Schaefer on Nvidia stock. The view is echoed by Oppenheimer's Rick Schaefer, a top-ranked analyst currently holding the 4th spot among thousands of Wall Street experts. Schaefer anticipates the upside results and for the outlook, Looking at Nvidia's various segments led by the H100, chip, Schaefer expects the data center business, which now accounts for 87% of total revenue, to show an 8% sequential uptick to grow by 136% year over year. When I call Nvidia a powerhouse stock, folks, I ain't just whistling Dixie. Believe you me, I'm just not. It is that power. It's the hottest stock on the planet. One more story. I want to look at the forecast. The upside is about 17%. Look at this. Out of 36 people who are holding, big names that are holding it, 33 of them are buys, 3 are holds, none are sells. High price, I'm looking closer. If this all comes to fruition, I'm looking closer to the high of $200. I think a lot of people have missed out on Nvidia when it was at a higher price. They've gotten in at a lower price, and I think it's going to continue to still run higher. More on my prediction in a minute. Now, let's talk about similar stocks in this space. Nvidia by far, AMD, Intel, TSM, ASML. Nvidia is blowing all of them out the water. Blowing them all out the water. Well, it's the biggest market cap, but this, I'm going to use the word again, it is a powerhouse of a stock. So everything is in its favor to just continue to go up. Now, what are the things that are going to affect the earnings when it comes out? All right, I'm going to stay on this page for a second because I'm going to bring up a red flag. The 3 things that I'm looking at right now are the Blackwell rumors, the GPU. Do you know that GPU is expected to do $265 billion in sales? If there's a delay on that, that could definitely affect Nvidia in an adverse way. China exports, on the chips between the U.S. and China, but the H20 chip meets the expectations, so they can still export that to China. And the guidance is my third thing that I'm looking at. It is such a high bar, and I think that they beat on earnings. I think they beat on revenues, but I am not sure on how big of a role the Blackwell GPUs are going to play in this as far as forward guidance. What am I also looking for when it comes down to their report? I'm thinking that they possibly, rumors are out there that they might be doubling their dividend, and they might be doing a $30 to $50 million stock buyback. I'm curious to listen for those 2 things in the call because that could affect them in a really good way. Now, red flags. In order for me to start to think about where they're going as far as price, what is everybody thinking about, I look at the options. I'm going to put on 20 strikes, and I want to look at the open interest on the call side. Where is the price going? Well, it's currently trading at 127 up today prior to earnings coming out. Where's the money going? Let's go sort by percent change to the positive. Not a big move. Look at this. The strikes that are moving in the percent change in the open interest are moving towards the lower side of where the price is right now. That concerns me. That tells me that the sentiment behind the market, the investors investing in the stock, feel that the stock's got some move to the downside possibly. The call options at the 117, they're way in the money. They're way in the money, and I don't know why anybody would want to spend that much money on the option. That much, they're way in the money. But the open interest, sort by that, 136,000 open interest at the 130 strike, 80,000 open interest at the 140. I am going extremely, extremely bullish on the stock. I think that if the guidance is good, I think the stock's got a good opportunity to push towards the $200 price point. Okay? But we got to see where it all stands out. That guidance is going to play a super big role in what's going on. So now let's take a look at the stock and let's go see what the VectorVest software has to say about it. Let's go start off with just Nvidia. All of these others are different ways to play Nvidia. The Direction, the 2-time leverage from Granite, the 2-time leverage from T-Rex. They're all moving up prior to tomorrow's call. I want to graph these. Actually, I just want to really graph Nvidia as a whole. Put this on a 1-year graph. Now, let's start off with the graph layout of just the VectorVest layout. All right. I'm looking at, VectorVest simple. There we go. What do we look for? Bottom left, top right. Earnings rising, RT above 1. Notice that RT is falling right now, but the stock is in a channel. What else am I looking at? I'm looking at a descending channel that got broken and moving up. That's a bullish sign. The stock is sitting in a channel right now. That's not a bullish or bearish sign. It just means it's moving sideways. It's waiting to see what's going on. Let's say that you're a longer term investor and I want to see if there's actual trend. Let's go look at the death cross or the golden cross. Above the 50-day moving average, we're looking at the 50 and the 200-day simple moving average. Trend is there. The 200-day moving average is in play. The stock got hit, went below the 50, but stayed above the 200. But again, the stock in anticipation of earnings moving sideways. Let's say you want to swing trade this stock. Let's go find GT swing. I'm looking at a 20-day exponential moving average. Beautiful way to get in and out above the 20-day, but again, sitting in the channel. Volume is starting to fall a little bit, but look at the earnings and look at the dividend. Dividend paid grew. And I'm thinking that they possibly, to get more people on board, may double the dividend. I think it's from like 4 cents possibly to 8 cents. Let's go look at the side of, if you're a trader, looking at the 3 and the 8 exponential moving averages. The 3 is currently above the 8 and above the 20. Again, a lot of sideways move currently because it's just waiting for the earnings to come out. So 3 different ways, whether you're a longer term investor, whether you're a swing trader, whether you are a trader, everything says go, go, go. I'm going to look at one more graph, which is the earnings graph that I've created just for stocks for just such an occasion. Luckily, I keep my feathers numbered for just such an occasion. But look at the relative safety on the stock has risen year over year. The earnings growth is higher. The earnings per share is higher. The sales growth is higher. Everything on paper tells me that this stock should beat. And if it does, the market's going to have a great upside right now going into the call on from the Fed in September on the interest rates. But if the guidance comes in not so good, Nvidia is probably going to have a hard push to the downside and the market will follow. So again, I got nothing to show me about the guidance. On paper, I tell you that it should beat earnings, it should beat revenue, and it should continue to move higher. It all depends on the guidance, and I'm really considering what's going on with the GPU delay with the Blackwell. That could affect them adversely, but we shall see. That's all I got for you. I think that I'm bullish on the stock. I still own NVDL. Should you jump into it before earnings? My answer is there's only one play that I would use to jump into it before earnings, and it's an options play where I would buy a straddle, where I buy a call and the put at the same strike price. Now, otherwise, if you own it, leave it alone. If you don't own it and you just want to get in because you think it's going to be bullish, I would wait. I think that the upside potential may be outweighed by the downside potential if the guidance comes in wrong. But again, I am full on bullish on the stock. It just depends on the guidance going forward. So with that, folks, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this content. That's my insight in regards to it. Again, I still think it's a powerhouse stock, a stock that's the hottest stock on the planet. It's all going to be about that guidance. But if the guidance comes in good, folks, put on your seatbelt because this stock is going to go, go, go. And I've given a price target of $200. Folks, this video is over. And until the next time, see ya. Hey, VV Nation, knowledge is power. And I wish that when I started investing in the market that someone would have impressed upon me just how important knowledge is when investing in the stock market. Well, VectorVest is giving you that opportunity to take advantage of world-class information and courses at a reduced price at the end of the summer. Folks, if you go to www.vectorvest.com/sale, you will gain access to some of the best knowledge out there to help you to make better decisions in the stock market. Folks, again, knowledge is power, and this is your opportunity to take your investing to the next level.